In this video, we're looking at the difference between formative assessment and summative assessment. These are two important forms of assessment that teachers and faculty use to evaluate students at different stage of the learning process. All right, so we begin with formative assessment. And the idea here is to understand what formative assessment is, when it is used, versus summative assessment when it is used as well. So formative assessment is assessment of students in academic program, of course, and they are both assessment of students in academic program, right? So this is geared towards an academic learning environment where students are supposed to gain knowledge at the end of the learning period. And faculty usually want to know if students are learning and to make adjustments and so forth. So they're both geared towards the learning environment. They're both geared towards academic programs. And formative assessment is designed to gauge students' knowledge and readiness for the course, right? So we want to know, it's important for faculty to know whether students are ready for the course, whether students are ready to learn, what is their readiness, what is their level of aptitude for the course, right? So it's important for faculty to know this information because this will then inform the faculty as to how to approach the course and how to interact with students. So assessment under the formative is designed to gauge students' knowledge and readiness for the course materials. The summative, on the other hand, is assessment is designed to assess the effectiveness of teaching methods. Are the teaching methods effective? Is the question that you want to ask. The delivery method, course materials, are they suitable? Are they at the level that students can understand, or are they at a higher level? And the academic program as a whole. So the faculty wants to understand this and wants to have a good insight and good grasp of this. So assessment is designed to assess the effectiveness of teaching methods, delivery, course materials, and the academic program. Right. So understanding the academic program is critical. So understanding students' ability to grasp knowledge, to grasp the content, to grasp the learning outcome, to fulfill the learning outcome is very important for faculty to understand. On this side, then, the third row uses a range of formal and informal assessment to make modifications to course delivery and content based on students' level of knowledge and understanding. So under the formative, right, faculty will use a range of formal and informal assessments to make modifications to course delivery and content based on students' level of knowledge and understanding. So when you understand students' level of knowledge of the content that is being shared in class and their level of understanding, you're able to make, again, modifications to the course. Now, how do you assess students' understanding and knowledge, right? So we use, and that's the next point here. So examples could be quizzes, self-assessments, activities or polls, right? These are all forms that faculty could use to assess students' readiness, to understand how to approach the material, to understand how to interact with them, to understand if accommodation is needed, to understand if additional resources are needed, and so forth. So quizzes, self-assessments, activities, or polls are some of the ways that faculty could use under formative assessment to get that information. On this side, formative assessment are designed to see how well students are meeting the course learning outcomes, right? So every course has learning outcomes, could be maybe 5, 6, 7 learning outcomes. Are the students meeting learning outcomes? Very important to understand that point as well, right? So use formative assessments such as midterms, for example, or final exam, for example, to understand if students are getting the information, as students are understanding and are fulfilling the course outline. It's very important for teaching faculty to have a sense of students' progress and understanding in the course, using formative assessment on one hand and summative assessment on the other hand. Now, formative, once again, is an assessment that tells the faculty where the student is regarding the course material, regarding the subject. Do they have pre-knowledge of the subject, or they have no knowledge of the subject coming into the subject? While they're taking the subject, the faculty will want to understand their level of understanding. And summative assessment is to understand how well the students are doing, but more importantly, if there are needs to change the methods of delivery, the course material, and the academic program itself. And usually that is determined by midterm exams, by final exams. On the other hand, on the formative side, usually the faculty will use quizzes, self-assessments, polls, and so forth, etc. So these are the two forms of assessments that are used by faculty to understand where the student is. Very important. Again, before we go, the formative assessment, you want to understand the readiness of the student. The summative assessment, you want to understand whether the student is understanding the course materials. You want to gauge that. And that's why you give midterms and final exams and other forms of assessment to understand where the student is in terms of understanding material, and most importantly, if the student is working towards meeting the course learning outcomes.